Hi. Hi, my name is Sophia, and this is I Am Soma, Nectar of the Gods, your channel for all things metaphysical. And today I wanted to take an opportunity to discuss an incredible alignment that we're experiencing even as we speak. The moon is actually conjunct the planet Pluto, and Pluto is quite a force to contend with. And today, many of us may be experiencing a little antsiness and a little, we're not comfortable perhaps in our own skin. I know that yesterday was truly a time of light and a time of exaltation. I felt it. I felt incredibly alive. Today, I am feeling just a little uneasy right beneath the skin. And this may have something to do, most likely, we're all in this ocean of consciousness, right? This ocean of pure energy that is present everywhere. And today's energy is imbued more intensely with the energy of regeneration, of death and rebirth than we normally have, because there's a conjunction, a coming together, a conjugal relationship between the moon that rules our emotions, our inner life, and the basis of our inner life, which is the Plutonian forces of death and rebirth. So Pluto was discovered in 1930. There were scientists, astronomers who predicted that the planet might exist, but it had not been visually observed. And they suspected this due to the orbit of the close to last planets that were known at that time, which were Neptune and Uranus. And the discovery of Pluto came in 1930 and resulted in a rearrangement of our solar system because now we had to account for this last planetary force, this added frequency to the dimension in which we live. And so the observations of its effect on mankind, on humankind, on creativity, on creation itself began in the 30s. Pluto has a 242-year orbit. That means that it takes 242 years for the planet to actually go around the sun. Many will not, many will not see the planet go over their ascendant, for example, depending upon the distance that the planet has from the ascendant. None of us will get to see a planetary return like we do with the moon on a monthly basis, or the sun on a yearly basis, or even Saturn on, 28 to 31 year cycle. We have a planetary return of Saturn that returns to its natal placement at the time that you were born. Such an event will not occur with Pluto because it takes an entire 242 years. So some of us, however, will experience Pluto transiting other planets in our chart. If you have Pluto within a 30 to 60 to even 80-degree placement from the moment of birth, you will experience Pluto moving forward and perhaps transiting those planets, which will initiate a time of great change in your life. Currently, we have the planet going over, um, moving from its transit, which began in 2008 over the sign of Capricorn in the Western astrological uh, reckoning of of the system, the astrological system, and it beckons us that a time of great change is at hand, immense change. I recall 2008, actually, Capricorn is my ascendant. I have been through an incredible transformation in the past over 15 years since that transit entered the sign of Capricorn in the Western astrological forecast. To, to highlight why this is so important now, I want us to remember that in 2020, we had the alignment of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which activated the initiation of the separation of humanity across the globe. We saw a call for, people staying at home due to global events we know what happened in 2020. There's no need for me to elaborate too much on that. However, the energetic frequencies that were present that ushered that time into our life involved the planetary force of death and rebirth and the planetary force of Saturn, which is challenges, boundaries, becoming present in our environment, and suddenly everybody was sent home. Prior to that, in December, we saw the great conjunction of Jupiter, an expansion of all things creation, and Saturn, the limit to that growth, come together to teach us a lesson about how manifestation requires both structure and expansion. You can't just grow, 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 grow without any checks and balances, right? When we behave in life from a place that is not in alignment with our soul's directive, we get checked back into place, and that's Saturn's tough love. And we saw that happen on a global scale, depending on who you listen to and who you are and what belief systems you adopt. That event affected everyone in a very, very personal, direct way. So in this year, we've seen Jupiter. In the previous year, we saw Mercury go direct at the end of the year. At the very beginning of the year, we saw Jupiter go direct. So Mercury and Jupiter, two incredible forces, the messenger of the gods and the god himself, the Jupiterian force of expansion, adventure, higher knowledge, education, philosophy, really take off, and we're experiencing this growth. Prior to that, we had the solstice, and we had the solstice on December 22nd. That is the lowest point in the ecliptic that the sun will go to before appearing to stand still for 3 days with its rebirth or its ascent back up the ecliptic on Christmas Day. And we have the most amazing story of the sun, S-O-N, and the sun, S-U-N, actually moving, ascending, a rebirth, right? Depending on the traditions that you follow, traditions of knowledge. In the Christian tradition, for example, that is the birth of Christ, right? The birth of the Christ principle, the birth of Christic consciousness, the birth or the planting of the seed of evolutionary potential towards the growth of awareness. And that seed is planted during those 3 days where the sun appears to stand still. That's the silent night in our soul. And then begins the movement with the increasing daylight after the 25th of December. Just a revolution that we experience on an annual basis for those of us who are aware. Unfortunately, many are not aware that these events are taking place because they have been co-opted by a more commercial stream of awareness and material stream of awareness, which hijacks the opportunity to engage inwardly in the gift of the season, which is your own evolution. And how, if we're quiet enough, if we are within ourselves, we begin to recognize in awareness that there's an opportunity for manifesting your best and your highest, right? So now, after the Christmas season and those 12 days that follow, and then the Epiphany on January 6th, an incredible time when Orion, the hunter, the impious hunter, sits directly overhead with the star system Sirius, blessing our consciousness with impulses that can be experienced in the here and now through the awareness, through consciousness, actively seeking out in the silence the impulse so that you can understand where your life is going. This is an opportunity that comes to all humans on Earth once a year. In the Northern Hemisphere, we celebrate that time during the Christmas season. And so we're in the midst of that, right? So January 6th was the Epiphany. And then on January 11th, just yesterday, we had the new moon, the first new moon of the year, nailing the impulses in consciousness, whether you're aware of them or not, for the growth. It's the seed that was planted during those 3 days that the sun appeared to stand still, 22nd to the 25th of December. Today, we have the conjunction, the conjugal visit of the moon and Pluto. And this is a time of incredible, incredible possibility for our own growth, for our own evolution, for our own moving forward as we close the astronomical year, because remember, Easter gives rise to the spring, right? The spring season is ushered in by the sign, the initiatory sign of Aries. We just have 2 more months before that begins. This is a time when we're nurturing that seed which was planted in the darkest hour, which is the silent night during the solstice, where the sun stands still with the greatest decrease of light in the northern hemisphere. So it's the darkest night, and which brings to life the subconscious process that's what informs our conscious ability to move through life, right? There's a subconscious, there's an underlying energy awake in us all. And in order to become aware of it, we have to seek out silence within. It can be no other way. It's an inside job. And so is Plutonian forces. It is also an inside job. This is not something that anybody can do for you. It is the energy of let go or be dragged. There's going to be some incredible change that's going to be ushering into your life. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, and I'll post a link in the description below. You can check that out. Depending upon the sign that Aquarius is in, the house that Aquarius is in your chart, you will know, the rumblings have already been there. This force is so incredibly powerful that it has been announcing itself in your life. There's something that you've been called to pay attention to, that you are perhaps running from, that you don't want to approach, that you put off, that you delay. There will be no delaying for this force. This planetary energy is about to enter Aquarius, and Aquarius is a very it's the ocean of consciousness itself. It's the ability to direct the electricity that is present in the environment, and that's the frequency, and that's the frequency that permeates and that gives rise to all of creation. So being in tune with those forces is the Plutonian energetic directive for the next couple of decades. And it behooves us to pay attention to what is percolating in our life that is requiring more attention, more of our own inner awareness, to become aware of how these forces are playing out in your life. The Pluto and Sun will be moving into Aquarius together. There will be a conjunction. The Sun is going to embrace the Plutonian energy of death and rebirth, of regeneration, of letting go, of giving birth to the new you. And this is not going to happen overnight. Like I said, it's almost a 2-decade transit in the sign of Aquarius. So you're just beginning to feel the first rumblings of the ushering of our birth star with the Death Star, which is Pluto, known as Yama in the Vedic tradition, Hel in the Hel in the Hebrew. No, that was Osiris in the Egyptian, in the Hebrew Sheol, and it is truly a time to set intention for that energy in your life. As we close the astrological cycle, the moon will be carrying this immense plutonic energy with which it is inhabiting today. It is literally in its classroom. The moon is in the classroom of the master professor, Pluto. And the moon will be just new, planting that seed, right? Because that's what happens at the new moon. The seed is sealed at the new moon. We have the moon approaching the sun. Then at the new moon, there's a conjunction between the moon and the sun. This is the sealing of the seed. If you're waiting for the new moon to set intentions, you're already too late. The intention is when the moon is approaching that conjunction. Now the moon begins to wax and begins to grow in light, which is the burst of the seed into life, into the growth for the next 2 weeks, which will culminate in a full moon on January 25th. January 25th is a powerful, powerful time in our life. Just 5 days prior, the sun will move with Pluto. What are the chances of that happening? That it will cross the abyss into the abyss that is that empty, desolate, loner energy of Pluto, of death, bringing the light of spirit along with it, the sun, into the ocean of electrical frequencies, symbolized by the water bearer, but it's an air sign. Bringing to you the opportunity to let go, to do things differently, to update ego-based desires into a more humanitarian way of thinking. What is best for all, right? It's the light of transcendence. It's the light of regeneration. As I said previously, it's an inside job. Pluto's a loner. Pluto will have you sitting in solitude. And if you're not used to it, it can be very, very, very difficult. It forces the light of consciousness into awareness. It is the place where the patterns that don't serve you will be front and center, and there is no hiding from it, because Pluto is the underbelly. bring all of those creepy crawlers out into existence and show them to you. And you, from that place, you will bring your highest and your best to conquer yourself into the next rung in your own evolutionary growth and the growth of consciousness. This is where something new can truly be born in your life. And it's active right now. It'll be active for the entire lunar cycle because it's just meeting. Remember, the seed has just burst forth. It's only been one day, less than 24 hours. And already we have the energy of Pluto blessing that seed. It's not for the faint of heart. It can get really, really dark, but the stars turn brighter in the darkness. So we have to claim our own inner strength and usher in this opportunity to live your best life, to be true to yourself, and to embrace the darkness, embrace the shadow instead of pushing it out onto the environment and other people. See it as a part of, see your shadow as a part of what makes you you. Embrace it, integrate it. And it doesn't mean that you have to live from that place, right? But until the unconscious becomes conscious, you will call it destiny. I believe Carl Jung said that. It's an archetypal force of nature on which we project all our shadows. The mean, the ugly, the selfish, the jealous, the envy, all these emotions are part of the human experience, and they become the lens through which we see the world when we project them onto, oh, it's that person that did it, and I'm a victim, and I'm a martyr, and all of these are the shadows through which Pluto works to get you to realize that nothing can be out there that's not in here. And until we recognize that mirror reflection of what it is that we're projecting out into the world and own it and switch that, and with compassion and self-love and self-care, heal those wounds, you can't move forward, because moving forward requires a healing, that you let go of that pain, that you let go of that way of being in the world, that you let go of the projection. It's just a lens. And here goes that opportunity. And bless all of you, bless me. I've just been through this incredible journey with Pluto in Capricorn, and Saturn was there, and oh my God, and right now there's a party in Capricorn. Thank God for that. And Mars is there helping us to excise, to go through whatever the challenges, whatever the obstacles are, right? Mars is like a detonating force, opening up the space so that you can cast your vision past the apparent wall and reach for the creative opportunity that is present in the earth sign of Capricorn. So blessings to all Capricornians who are just like probably so excited to see this happen. Pluto will be back at the end of the year for a short time, almost as if destiny, before the arrival of 2025, to finish up any work that had not been completed. We have an opportunity to close that chapter then. And right now we're beginning to write a new chapter and make sure that, or perhaps even a new book, It depends on where you are and how you use this energy. Remember, you have the power, and Pluto is power. So embrace it, and I wish you much success. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like, and subscribe, and check out the description for more details. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Enjoy the growth of this season we are in right now. This is only the second day after the new moon, and continue planting those seeds. Spend time on your own, particularly today. It is required, actually, and you will see that again happen on the 20th of January, when, and as we get closer to that date, which is now, as the sun begins to make its approach to Pluto, and brings some opportunity for solitude and reconsideration of contracts that we thought were written in stone, Capricorn. And guess what? They're not. So embrace your own transformation, give it direction, embrace it willingly, or like I said previously, it'll drag you. Much love. Take real good care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you again here for the next update. All blessings. Bye.